So for the next one, step 4, state and useState hook. I will create inside the app just to know how you can use this clearly. Okay, but let's do in state. So the useState is a React hook that lets us add reactive variables to our function components, and you never do the change count directly. For example, we have a variable const count here that has the value of 1, and we put here p count count. So you have the count here. So if I change for anything, like I put a button here, press me. Okay, we have aquí the press me, and on the on click, I apply like count 2. I will put let here. The function will not react here. So what do we need to do? So to create a really count, okay, I will show you how to do this on React. So first of all, we use const and declare an array here that calls count and set count. We use the useState. It will be imported here. We can type then of number type, and the initial stage of count will be 0. Okay, count 0. So count plus 1, count minus 1. Now we should just see, it will be more easier. Plus and minus. Okay, plus and minus. And here, on press, on click, sorry, we'll call the set count. Will be count plus 1. And the same thing here, on click, will be set count, count minus 1. Okay, so now it changes. This is how we use reactive variables, so they state. So step 5, fetching data with useEffect. So now we will create another state from the application. I will put here h2 count functions. And here we will put users. Okay. So inside the users, we'll create another state. We use users and set users. We use state. It will be an array. And you use just name and mail. Let's create it here just to have type user name string mail string. Okay, an array of user. The word user useful like this way, and the initial state will be an empty array. Okay. So for fieldless users, we use a public API that returns some users. Oh, it's missing the equal here. Okay. So for this, we use the useEffect one. The useEffect runs after your component renders. And when we use the empty array as a parameter, make it run only once on mount. It's like if you learning for now the React, it's like the component did mount for the older versions. So let's start with the useEffect. We will import here. Visual Studio Code will import automatically if you have well configured. And that receives two parameters. The first one is a function, and the second one, it's an area of depth. If I put this empty, it will run my function once a time when the component was mounted. So the component, you are seeing the component, this will be run, okay? So I will use the fetch here. I will not use any library to call any APIs, and okay. So let's fetch here. This link, I will set this on the description. This returns a promise with a response. So let's use the JavaScript function of the promise, then response.json. And after converting this to JSON, we receive data. Okay, data that set here the set users data. Okay. So we have the users here, but we are not using. So here in users, let's make a list. Okay. So I will put a JavaScript code here and check if the users.length is equals to 0. We return p paragraph loading. And in the else statement, you make an UL here. So now that we check that the length is different from 0, we can do a map here, a map function that will render all the items that users returns to us. So, okay, let's do this user.map. We receive a new user here. We can return here list item. When you do this, we need to put a key here. This will help to render correctly for the React. So let's put the user.id. I forgot to put the ID here. It's number. I don't remember there is some number of it. Okay. And it's ID here. Let's put the JavaScript code. I can set user.name. And inside the parentheses, we get user.mail. Okay, it fetched linear hand and all the one. So as I said, we can just put to lowercase here, and we will get lowercase. So step 5, organize your project and split components. So after that, we can, as you can see, we have a large component here, and we can do this reusable. We can use this list in all of the projects. So I will just make a component of user list, adding here in components. I will put here user list.tsx. Okay, const user list act export default user list. Okay. So the return will be, can copy these, copy all of them, cut and paste here. Remember, if you have more than one parent here, one of more children in your React component, it will not work. You need to put a main parent. You can put an empty component like that, and now it will works. And the type user, how you put this on the user list at the top of it. Interface user props. Now, as we can get user props, I can just make a typed function component that receives user props. Forgot that it's type user like that. User, users, an array of user. Hope you understand this. We can type user here in the props that we receive an array of users. So here we can put users, and now we can use this here. So after that, I will export this because I want to use this in other components. Okay, user is imported here. And now we can put here user list, the same name that we created here, user list. Put the users properties with the users state users. So now it changes nothing. Nothing changes, but we are encapsulating this in another component, as we can see. Okay.